Hello everyone and welcome to the London studio, and today I'd like to talk about inspiration. Now, inspiration is a bit like imagination in many people's minds, and I think they feel they don't get it. It doesn't happen, and they are blocked from finding inspiration. So I want to look at what inspiration is. Now, as you can imagine, I don't like the idea that inspiration is denied to anyone. In fact, I'm completely convinced that inspiration is there for everyone if they only wish to find it. So let's have a look at a clue on what inspiration might be. Well, it's related to words that mean breathing in. Breathing in, taking something in from outside. Now I think that's an important clue, because what it means is that inspiration isn't about finding something within inside you, pulling something out. It's about letting things in. It's about looking, seeing, simply glimpsing, being aware, getting a sudden moment's insight into something. It is not about digging into the depths of one's own psyche. So to this end, I want to read you a poem that I wrote sitting in this chair, but the night before last, just after I arrived. And I was sitting in this chair and the sun was setting, which it isn't at the moment because it's raining. But there we are. And it's a very short poem, and then I want to look at it. Now, it might not be a masterpiece, but I choose it on purpose because I want to have a look at this poem and how it came to me. Okay, here we go. It's called Sunlit. Late sun among leaves of the ash. A crow jumps up through its branches. Up to see a last blink of day, until she reaches the uppermost twig, which then bends under her black weight and dips her into darkness. Okay, so where does that poem come from? Well, as I said, I was sitting in this chair and I was looking out that window, and I saw on an ash tree over there the sun setting from that direction, rising up to the top of the ash tree very late on in the day. That's point number one. Was there a crow? No, there was no crow. But a few minutes later, after wandering around in my imagination maybe, or looking at something in the room, I looked out again, and there, in a tree further up the road, was the crow, and she was hopping, fluttering around. They sort of get up through the branches. So there's two elements. And the crow was rising, but she didn't get to the top of the tree. She wasn't maybe interested, I don't know. But then it reminded me of blackbirds late in the evening in summer, when they sit on the topmost twig or the top of a chimney or the top of a telegraph pole, and they sing their heart out as if looking at the sun, celebrating the sun. So that was just a memory. But it was the third element. And then there was a fourth element that came to me, looking at the clumsy crow as she sort of waddled around on the branch. I thought, yes, I remember when they get to the top, often they do get to the top, but the branch can't take the weight because it's a very thin branch at the top and it sinks and dips. And just at that moment, the sun was at the very uppermost point of the ash tree, just about to sink below the horizon and dip the world into night. So there we are. We had these elements, and all I had to do was collect them, pull them together, put them in some kind of order, and you end up with a metaphor. The metaphor, of course, of the life form struggling towards the light and eventually having to be denied it. So, inspiration is all around us. All we have to do is look, open our eyes, inspire, breathe in the world around us. The whole universe is available as inspiration. It is the in-breath of God and the out-breath of God, according to Hindu mythology. And it's there if we look. And of course, when we feel frustrated and we've got the blank piece of paper in front of us, well, we're batting our heads against the brick wall. We're not looking. We're looking at blank. And we become blank. It's out there. Everything's out there. Now, I want to finish on a poem that I wrote the following evening. And guess where I was? Sitting in this chair. And it was night. And the crescent moon was just over there beyond the trees that I'd previously seen the crow in. It was just sinking above the rooftops. And over there is also Tottenham. So, this is about the moon, and it's called Changeable, which after all the moon is. But it's also about inspiration. The moon's up again tonight. Its crescent dips towards Tottenham. How many billion years have I been watching on and off its lamp over Tottenham? But I'm not fooled. It hasn't always been there. It's fickle, this sickle. Once upon a time, that sky was dark. That's the way with things. You get used to them, plant them in the mind, almost ignore them, until you get a glimpse, like this moon over Tottenham. A surprise almost, but not quite. You see, I am older than the moon. No, it's new on the scene. So, thank you for shining on me as I look towards Tottenham. Your crescent, its limbus jagged with craters and hills, so far, yet near, brief and bright. Well, I hope you found those few words on inspiration out there, not in here. Open up, breathe it in. Everything's available for inspiration. Hope you find them helpful. And in the coming days, I'm going to try to get out and about, get to a few places where there are poems in the air, poems from the past, poems that I've written, poems that I hope to create. And we're going to sort of have a creative adventure whilst I'm in London. And I'll also be revisiting my father and other dodgy characters. Okay, right. Thank you very much for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.